What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's very special episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. It is Game of the Year time. Here with my co-host Micah,
Hey,
and Carrie.
What's up?
Said 2025 brought another fantastic year of video games, even if the industry is not so fantastic right now. And we're going to talk about our 10 favorites. I say this every year, but I think this year it really will bear true. This is probably going to be the most varied list between the three of us that we've seen in quite some time. So we will get into that. We'll get some housekeeping out of the way first. Of course, if you're not a member of our Discord, go to densepixels.com/fans and join up there to chat with other listeners of the show, the rest of the Dense Pixels community. You can check out this podcast in video format on YouTube by going to youtube.com/densepixels. Subscribe while you're there. If you prefer getting podcasts in audio form, just search for TNP Studios on any podcast app of your choice. You'll find us, as well as the Nerdpocalypse, Black on Black Cinema, and the Look Forward Political Podcast. And if you'd like to support us with zeal, densepixels.com/premium is just $5 a month to help support your favorite independent media. So for those of you who have not been around for this that we've done before, our criteria is pretty fast and loose as far as what qualifies in our Game of the Year discussions. We don't do this for a living, so we don't necessarily have time to play and means to play every single new game that comes out. So we will consider major expansions. We will consider early access releases or games that were in early access but have gone 1.0. We'll consider games that came out like super late last year that we didn't necessarily get able to get around to, or maybe like longer games that we were just able to get finished this year that might have come out last year. So like I said, not a lot of strict rigidity to our list. We also will rank a point system so that we will eventually come out with a sort of overall Dense Pixels Game of the Year choice that we as a show will throw our support behind. And then the way that we do this is we do it round robin style. We start at 10, we go to 1, and if one of us mentions a game that is higher up on someone else's list, we will discuss it when it has reached its highest position on the board. So basically we'll skip over that person and then they'll talk about it when everyone gets to talk about a game that might be positioned very highly. So Carrie, you have the honors of going first. What is your number 10 game of the year?
This is a purely selfish pick, I admit, but my number 10 of the year is Toho Farming Minariko's Homestead Harvest, which is the game that I did most of the soundtrack for. So that being said, the game launched in early access in September. Response has been nice. The people who have played it seem to really enjoy it. I'm working on some additional tunes for the 1.0 release, which should happen sometime this spring. Yeah, it's a really cute little farming sim with Toho characters that, I've always been a fan of the Toho franchise. Coming up on 20 years of playing Toho games right now. It's just wild to think about. But yeah, look, again, I understand this is a very selfish pick because I did most of the music for this game, but it is at its core just a very solid farming sim that also has some really kind of fun little mini games in it between the adventure mode, which is like a twin stick shooter, and the fishing mini game is great and the mining mini game is great. So it's got a lot going for it in terms of pure gameplay. So once more story content gets added with the 1.0 release, I'm hoping more folks dig into this game as well.
Very cool. And hey, we appreciate a little bit of shameless self-promotion
Exactly.
on this podcast. So, Micah, your number 10.
my number 10. Oh, shit. Oh, damn it. Don't get old. I just had a shooting pain in my neck for some reason, and I don't know why. My number 10 pick is kind of a cheat, but like not really because it is released this year, but it is a remake. But it's a remake of a game I never played. and it's Metal Gear Solid Delta
Hmm.
Snake Eater. Yeah, I for some reason I tried to play this game the first time, and I think it was just the over the shoulder. I mean, the not over the shoulder. The quasi isometric view that Metal Gear typically has, particularly for its indoor variants, didn't translate well to me in a jungle setting. And while I now realize that the jungles is it's not like an open world, right? Like there are specific paths that branch out and then come back to the center. I really do appreciate the different camera angles, and it for some reason it just clicked. It worked with me. Couple that with a really good spy story. Uh, it's probably the tightest story that Metal Gear has in terms of, there's not a lot of, there's fluff, okay, there's fluff, but the story is comprehensive. It is interesting. We got an entire cast. No one is bad in this game. No one. And it's the best Metal Gear game that I've played. So yeah, and it got a tremendous, not a tremendous remake, but it's, I mean, it's probably the best. This is the best way to play this game.
Hmm.
So if you're the other person that's never played Metal Gear Solid 3, now's your chance to do it.
That would be me.
My number 10 so I've really gotten to experience a lot more strategy games this year. Those of you that have been listening for a long time know that I just started playing on PC really a couple of years ago, and the strategy genre was one that I've always been curious about, but not really able to get into until playing on PC, just because those games normally don't either map well to console or don't come out at all. So there's a couple on my list this year. The one that's at number 10, though, is 2 Point Museum, which is a game from the folks at 2 Point Studios. This is a like management tycoon style game where you're building various museums, and I just really enjoy this one because it's pretty easygoing. But the game's got a lot of charm and personality. This is made by a lot of folks that were developers on like the theme games, like Theme Hospital, Theme Park, back in the Bullfrog Entertainment days. So it has like very quirky looking characters and a sense of humor to it, in terms of like the different exhibits that you have to scout out for and things like that. And I also just like building uh like stuff like museums and like laying out the exhibits inside of it, and putting in all the accoutrement that you need to keep your guests happy, like cafeterias and vending machines, and making sure that restrooms are scattered without, while you have to watch out for art thieves that come in from like the toilets that can like run into your museum and steal your exhibits and then escape through the bathroom again if you don't have security watching out. So really good entry point for this series. And if you like these styles of management games and you haven't played this, I would definitely recommend it. Ton of content there. And it's a really good game. So yeah, my number 10 is 2 Point Museum.
Nice.
Carrie, number 9.
My number 9 is Mario Kart World. I like Mario Kart a lot. World did a little trying to reinvent the wheel here in terms of the general formula. And I understand why they did that, because I just don't think you can make a Mario Kart game that's better than 8 Deluxe. I generally feel like that is the summit of the mountain. That is the peak Mario Kart experience. And so they had to try and come up with something as far as, well, what do we do now? Right.
Yeah, and spoilers, they're gonna eventually have the same problem with Smash Brothers as well, because
Yeah.
they kind of have like the definitive
Yeah.
version of that game as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. So with that being said, there are a lot of things about Mario Kart World that I don't love, like the lack of a traditional Grand Prix experience. There's a lot that I do appreciate. I think there's, the dedicated point to point like rally race mode. Like I really like that. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do just in open world exploration. The soundtrack is incredible. It's far and away the best Mario Kart soundtrack experience. Um, there's a lot that I like about it, and this is something that could potentially, get better with DLC and updates and whatnot. So it's not my favorite Mario Kart world, but it is still a Mario Kart, and therefore it is still pretty solid because there's yet to be a Mario Kart game that I think is truly bad. It's ultimately not what I wanted from a Mario Kart game, so that's why it falls sort of pretty low on my list overall. But I had a good time with it. I just think for me, I ended up just getting kind of bored with it pretty quick. So I ended up just putting it down relatively quick compared to, you know, uh, when I finally really stopped playing Mario Kart 8 a lot. But no, it's solid, and it was a perfectly cromulent launch title for the Switch too. So
You'll you'll notice that Micah nor I interrupted you, which means that it was not did not crack our
yeah,
top 10 this year. Yeah, I haven't
as
honestly
expected.
ever after Donkey Kong came out. I don't think I've booted it up since then,
Yeah,
which is kind of wild to think about.
I
So
think I've booted it up like maybe twice since Bonanza came out.
yeah,
So
I booted up more times, but just because
yeah,
my son
kids.
was playing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I get that. So cool. Well, Micah, what is your number 9 this year?
My number 9 is a game that proves that no matter what I say, I will always be a hypocrite. Because when this game was announced, I was like, screw this. This is going to be the same old, same old. And in some ways it is, but it has been refined to a bit of a sheen. And that's Borderlands 4 is
Okay.
my ninth game of the year, my number 9. Um, Look, the feeling came back. The feeling has been restored, and while while part of this is augmented by the fact that I had three dedicated people to play this game with, um, I had a great time playing with them. And your mileage may vary. It might not have made the list if I didn't have those dedicated friends to play it with, because all the good things about Borderlands, right? The dopamine hit when you see a chest and then you open it up, and then the massive letdown when it's nothing good, but you still chase. That's all there. Movement is much better. Um, there's a lot more platforming in this game, which I wasn't expecting. But yeah, Borderlands. This is part of it is because it's been a long time. Part of it is because I had a lot of friends playing with it, but we put 200 hours into this game. So,
Good lord.
I must have liked it a little
Yep.
bit.
That is wild. I like I said, you shocked me when you said 120 when you reviewed it, and then I'm
Yeah,
shocked that you
we kept
continued
playing.
onward. So that's awesome, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to be brief because my number 9, I guarantee you we're going to talk about later in the show. But you guys might be surprised to learn that I had this so low, and that's Hades 2, which we'll
Yep.
talk about
We'll talk
uh,
about that later.
later on. For sure. So then I guess since that was quick for me, I'll go into my number 8.
Okay.
And that's a game that was a late comer. We had a couple of games come along at the end of the year that really I mean, some of them I were expecting to be good. This one was not on my radar at all, but it's really captured me these last couple weeks, and that is Sectori, which is a twin stick shooter from former Housemark talent. I talked about it on last week's episode. It's just a really enrapturing one of these, with lots of bright lights and sounds, but a really satisfying gameplay loop. It doesn't have anything that hasn't been seen in this genre before. Like it has the scalable power ups like the Gradius series did. It has kind of your dash and little mini explosion like a lot of games you find in this genre. But the way it marries them together is just really satisfying. And just kind of the few quirks they take, like if you dash into a power up token, it instantly recharges it, so you can try to chain those together, which is one of the ways that you build up your score multiplier. Since last week too, I started to dive into the other game modes that are in the game, and it's interesting how like the side modes really work as special, like they let you specially train in a specific aspect of the main campaign game, which is great because like if you're having trouble like with the bosses, they have a boss rush mode that you can play where you just play against the bosses. Or if you have trouble like with movement, like you can like there's a side mode where you don't have any weapons and you just have to avoid taking damage for as long as you can. And there's different like power ups that you can get and stuff like that. So just like I said, really cool game. Doesn't give you a lot of info up front, and kind of expects you to learn about the game through playing it. Which again, we talk about games like this all the time. Games that show and don't tell, and that trust the player. And Sectori is one of those that does that. And this is one that even when I'm through the campaign, I could see myself returning back to this one repeatedly for a real long time, because it's just one of those games that just kind of scratches that itch for me. So my number 8, Sectori.
Nice.
Carrie, what do you got for your number 8?
My number 8 is Raito Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army, which is a remaster of a game with somehow a longer title, which was the original title of this game was Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Raito Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army. And that game came out originally in 2006. So nearly 20 years later, they decided to remake it on modern consoles with a smattering of quality of life updates. That being said, at its core, it's still, for better and for worse, a PlayStation 2 game. So it has some PlayStation 2 era jankiness just built into the core of what this game is. But the Raito games, both of them, I always thought were really good. And I really like that Atlas. Now that Persona has become such a mainstream franchise after the success of Persona 5 and then the success of the Persona 3 remake. So now they're doing a P4 remake, but I'm glad that they're also trying to bring other PlayStation 2 era games into kind of the modern JRPG discussion again. So really glad that they did this. And I hope that they remake the second game of the Raito games. I hope that they decide to do the Digital Devil Saga duology, which for me I think would be that's my end game with Atlas right now. Is I really want a remaster of Digital Devil Saga. But Raito's great. It's a lot of fun. I didn't finish it, so that's going to be an early 2026 goal is to actually finish Raito Remastered. But yeah, it's really good. So if you like the Personas, if you've gotten into the larger Mega 10 franchise via Persona 5 or Persona 3, check it out. It's really fun.
I will say it is remarkable to me how consistent of a publisher Sega has become, but not with any of their games. Like it's all
No.
like their partner published.
No,
games.
it is 100% the Mega 10 and Yakuza franchises carrying Sega.
Well, not
as
just
opposed to
I mean
Sega.
anything. I mean obviously like RGG is going to be putting out some other
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
too as well. But yeah, basically like Atlas and RGG are propping them up, and then occasionally you have a mediocre Sonic game come out every.
Hey, Shadow Generations was honestly really good.
Is it in your top 10?
No, I think I talked about it last year though.
Oh,
'Cause
did
it
you? Oh,
came
was
out,
that
like,
last year? Oh,
October
okay.
of last year.
Okay.
So
I heard the new Sonic Racing game is actually maybe even better than Mario Kart World, possibly. So
I have heard I haven't played Cross Worlds yet. I have been kind of hesitating to pick it up because I kept expecting a holiday sale to happen, and then it became, oh well, do I just buy it for myself, or do I wait and see if my partner picks it up for me, or do I like get a gift card? So I'm gonna get it within the next 4 to 5 weeks regardless, because I have friends who are playing it who are like, this is between this and Mario Kart World, I would rather play Cross Worlds. So I do want to get that for, it'll probably be like a Switch 2 pickup, but yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Also,
I've heard a lot of that as well. So
by the way, 2 Point Museum, also a Sega published title
yep.
as well. I gotta say, disappointing when the Sega logo pops up and it's just a little, bah, like it's not,
Yeah.
we don't get the Sega voice anymore. God damn it,
Yeah.
bring that back. Micah, your number 8.
My number 8 is Absolem. Absolem is
Nope.
any takers? All right. What a fun concept for a side-scrolling beat 'em up. A game that, a genre that, its whole identity is play it over and over and over again. And instead of like, I has there been another side scroller beat 'em up with like roguelite elements like this?
So this game was developed, and I can't remember the name of the studio, but it was the same developer that developed Streets of Rage 4, and they did
Yeah.
add a roguelike mode to Streets of Rage 4 as DLC for the game that I've heard very good things about. It's not as in depth as this is though. Like
Yeah, this is
like Streets of Rage 4 like is just like the roguelike mode is just a roguelike bolted onto Streets of Rage 4. This is a side-scrolling beat 'em up designed around the roguelike game style.
yeah, and when you just like a roguelite, like some your character starts out pretty basic, but you end up sometimes you get like moves that allow you to like do these wild combos, like certain moves that keep enemies juggled up in the air and then bounce them off the walls and then like it's super fun. And the four characters are very different from one another. Um, it's just it's really fun, and it's a game that it's an idea that is so great you cannot believe there haven't been a bunch of other um, developers doing this, and I mean like major like developers and publishers, right? Like anyway, like why hasn't Capcom done this? They why haven't they revived Final Fight and done something like this? I don't know, man, but Absolem is one of the best beat 'em ups that I've ever played. It's super fun.
Yeah, I don't know that this would have made it on my top 10 had I given it the time that I wanted to give it this year. But that's one of the reasons why it's probably not high on my list, is because I just didn't. That was one of the ones that just got kind of shoved off to the side amidst a lot of other games. Much to my chagrin, because I've enjoyed what I played so far. I just haven't put the time into it that's necessary to really feel it out. So, but I've enjoyed what I played so far for sure. So I'm not surprised to see it land on your list here. All right, so my number 7, much like my number 9, I don't think we're going to talk about now. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about it later, and that is Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yep. I've got that on my list a little higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it a lot higher.
Yeah, I kind of figured you two would be surprised that I had it as low as I did, but like I said, we'll
Not
talk about why
necessarily.
when we get there. So, well, that means Carrie, what do you got for number 7?
Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, which is a game that did come out last year.
I gotta stop you. I'm kidding. Let's go ahead.
I was gonna say, like,
what?
I was literally like, what? Did you play this game in secret and not tell either of us? No, I didn't think so. No, Vengeance released last summer, and I started it last year, and I didn't finish it. And that was like my big backlog game this year that I finally went back and played like let's call it 2/3 of that game. Yeah, man, like I really enjoyed the original SMT5. I think the Vengeance storyline is ostensibly better written than the vanilla game baseline or storyline. Yeah, look, it's good. I like Shin Megami Tensei. We all know this. We've known this for a long time. I like mainline Shin Megami Tensei games perhaps even more than I like the Persona series. Um it's very good. It's difficult in a way that can be infuriating at times, but it never felt like I was being disrespected as the player in terms of difficulty curves and whatnot. Like there's always kind of a way through. It did never felt like it was being difficult just for the sake of being difficult. Like there was always a reason for a difficulty spike. So yeah, Vengeance is great. I like Megami Tensei, and I want more modern Megami Tensei. I actually, on the topic of Megaten, I actually went back and I started replaying SMT4 on the 3DS a bit this year, and that's a game that has difficulty spikes that are just fucking stupid. And I don't like, so I haven't played a lot of it because I'm stuck at like a really early boss. But I keep a 3DS next to my bed, so sometimes I'll just sit and play 20 or 30 minutes of a 3DS game. And currently I've got SMT4 in there, so we'll see if I get back to that. But yeah, Five Vengeance is great. It is a good introductory title to the mainline Shin Megami Tensei games if you've otherwise only played the Persona series. So strongly recommend it.
All right, Michael, what do you got for your number 7?
My number 7 is Hades 2.
Okay, so we
Cool.
will.
We'll talk about that later.
Yes, we will talk about that later. Very good. All right, well then, I think we're up to number 6. And now we're like number 6 is where on my list you're really starting to get into the Brad shit. Like that's where stuff's really starting to reveal itself. My number 6 is Lumines Arise, the new de facto best game in the Lumines franchise. Yeah, this is just, again, like we talked about, like definitive editions of titles earlier. I'm sure there will be another Lumines someday, but it's going to be tough to top this one because, like I said, it's the Lumines gameplay with the best like visual style that this game has ever had before, with a great number of features and different modes and different ways to play the game that makes that feel really robust as well. That's just been really, really fun. And I've even started to play the online mode a little bit more than I had when it first came out, doing the online battles. Really figuring out like the new burst mechanic and how to best utilize that. So like that's how you know that I'm getting into the Lumines, when I'm starting to like min-max, go for scores, play other people, stuff like that. This game, there's a couple of games that came out that this year that are going to automatically get installed on any piece of gaming game playing devices that I own, and Lumines Arise is definitely one of them. Sectori is another one of them too, and we'll talk about one more, at least one more later up on my list. So, but yeah, Lumines Arise, just fantastic release, worth the wait, and just add more stages maybe to like put out some DLC for this one as time goes along, instead of worrying about making another one. Good shit. Carrie, your number 6.
Monster Hunter Wilds.
Mm.
I like Monster Hunter. We know this. If you're watching on YouTube, you see behind me my Jagger's Greatsword, which is as big as I am. I like Monster Hunter a lot. I think I wanted more from Wilds. I think there's also just there's a difference in the experience of playing Monster Hunter on a console versus playing on a PC. Now, I played a lot of World and a lot of Rise on PC. My PC cannot handle the demands of Wilds, and even if it could, uh, Wilds is not exactly optimized on PC. I know that even people who were able to run the benchmark solid have not had necessarily good experiences on PC.
Raising my
Yeah.
audio listeners, I'm raising my hand on this one. I've got a fucking 4070 Ti. There's absolutely no reason that game should struggle, and yet,
Yeah. And yet, so I played on PS5, but in spite of all the crossplay, it's difficult to have that kind of, community group experience when everybody's playing on different consoles and everybody has to jump through a set of hoops to kind of like hook up a group online. So I don't love that. Um, that said, I really liked just all the little tweaks to quality of life that they made for Wilds. I love the legally distinct chocobo. I love that you can bring a second type of weapon out on a hunt now. So like I've always been a lance main. You're never going to make me play any other weapon that isn't a lance. Um, most of the time, but for certain fights, I would bring like a heavy bow gun or a light bow gun. Where like lance is great, but lance is a short range weapon. So to be able to bring something super long range like a bow gun, um, just made sense. So it's nice to be able to kind of change things up on the fly in that way. Um, Game runs great on PS5. I love the new monsters. I thought the story was pretty interesting. I am looking forward to the game getting like the big update with Master Rank and whatnot. I'll probably really jump back into it then and try to dedicate a bit more time to it at that point. But yeah, I mostly just wish that the game was optimized on PC, so I was playing it on PC instead of on console. But that being said, for a console experience, it's solid. I have a good time with it. I like Monster Hunter. I'm gonna keep playing Monster Hunter.
yeah, like I mentioned to you guys, this actually didn't even make my top 20 this year, despite the fact that I played through the full like low and high rank campaigns. I think the lack of optimization hurt it. I think kind of the lack of a real end game kind of hurt it for
Yeah.
me. Yeah, but yeah, like Rise, like when Rise finally clicked with me, I played that game so much.
Hmm.
And I was late to the party, but I put in 160 hours between Rise and Sunbreak when that game came out, all on Steam Deck, where it ran perfectly
Yeah.
fine. That was a Switch game originally, so I mean that kind of stands to
Yeah.
reason. But yeah, this one was just again, part of it was because like the only way that I could play it even slightly stably was on my main desktop.
Yeah.
Can't play it
Hmm.
on Steam Decks. That means like
No.
if I'm gonna play it, I need to ignore the family and come up to the office and do all that jazz. So yeah, this one it just kind of missed the mark. I mean, I'll return to it once new updates come forward, and hopefully if
Yeah.
Capcom learns how to optimize a game on the PC. But until then, it's
We'll
just gonna
see if
kind of
that
sit in
happens.
storage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's worth saying, on as far for World, I played exclusively on PC. I have 485 hours in that on PC. Um, that's embarrassing to say out loud. For Monster Hunter Rise, I started on Switch. I know I have about 70 to 90 hours on the Switch version, and then they re-released it on PC. And I did the whole thing again on PC, and I put in 170 hours on the PC version of that. So, Wilds certainly has, I probably have maybe 50 or 60 hours in that game total, but I didn't get hooked into the same kind of loop that World and Rise offered. So that's why, it's kind of middle of the pack for me. It's like I've had a really good time with what I have played, but it just didn't hook me the same way that the other modern Monster Hunters have. So
Micah, your number 6.
My number 6 is an action platformer,
Ooh.
Metroid style non-linear exploration game
uh-huh.
called Shinobi Art of Vengeance.
And you are gonna have to stop talking because we'll talk
Ah.
about it.
Ooh.
We'll talk about that later. So I will point out the second game with Vengeance in the title, in the top 10 so far
That's
this
true.
year. So, Micah, you have that at number 6. Micah, why don't you go ahead and give us your number 5?
My number 5 is the latest in a in a near 20-year-old franchise. And it is the best version of this game, and it is Assassin's Creed Shadows. Look, it took them forever to get to the place where everyone wanted them to go. And then they pissed everybody off by making one of the main protagonists black. So that's gotta get in the top 5 for me. But Assassin's Creed Shadows is kind of the apex of where Assassin's Creed kind of needed to be. Look, as much as I like playing as a black samurai, that dude is like a bull in a china shop, and that is not Assassin's Creed. Naoe, the ninja, is who you're really there for, and the traversal mechanics, the way that the parkour is kind of set up, it's not janky anymore. It's the Naoe is powerful enough, right? But she's not overpowered, and Naoe is not going to beat two dudes in a straight up fight. So Naoe, they really did blend. They really did have two very very different play styles. That was the goal, and they really achieved it. Look, Assassin's Creed has had a lot of ups and downs. This I think is the best one, not just because of the time period that everybody wanted them to go to, but in terms of everything that Assassin's Creed has done uh, throughout the 20 years it's been around. They finally figured out the game that they really really wanted to make. The reason why this game is not higher up is that it still has the one glaring problem with the Assassin's Creed franchise, particularly when they went from Origins on, and that's bloat. This game is bloated, and it has, there is such a thing as too much of a good thing,
Yeah.
and it's not paced very well at all. But the feeling that I get when playing that game is great. I've got like 150 hours in that game, just like playing it, and it's a game that I kind of you can kind of zone out, have a good time, and really really get into it. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows, the best one in the franchise so far. My number 5.
Excellent. Uh, my number 5 is a game series that I expected to like this game when I heard it was coming out. I played a couple. I shouldn't even say played. I've dabbled in a couple other games in this series that have come before it. And then this one dropped, and fuck, did it take over my life for a solid 2 weeks. And that is Anno 117 Pax Romana, which is the latest game in the city building production chain management Anno series. And goddamn, is this game really good at capturing your attention and just keeping you sucked in, and just building your little Roman cities, swapping over to Albion, building your little Celtic Romano cities over there, draining your marshes. The thing that this Anno game does, and other ones might do it too, but this is my first, really sitting down, playing this series for any length of time, is it just does a good job at keeping you engaged by constantly having things happen that you have to go manage, basically. You know, whether that's, you know, raiders coming in and trying to pillage your trade ships, or, you know, fires or diseases breaking out in certain in some of your cities that you have to like zoom over and go deal with that problem as well. And if you're like a tinkerer like I am, if you like making these very pretty looking city layouts with just the perfect building synergy and bonuses going across the way, in these types of games, then this has so much that you can do, and so many different ways that you can kind of play it. My first, you know, I'm still in my first, you know, non-campaign game that I played, and I'm literally 30 hours into that one game. Essentially, you've
Yeah.
just got like doing these things, and it's just really hard to break away. You know, a game knows that it's addictive when they have an in-game warning when you've been playing for 2 hours, where your advisor character suggests that you go get some refreshments because you've been playing for 2 hours, and you get an achievement if that happens 9 times
Oh my
during,
god.
not in one session, but like across you know, many sessions, if that happens 9 times.
Yeah.
And I have unlocked that achievement on
That
one
doesn't surprise me.
session. Just a really compelling anno game, and it's fucking great. That's why it managed to sneak in late and make it into the top half of my top 10 this year.
Hell yeah.
Carrie, what is your number 5?
Promise Mascot Agency. Look, it's the newer game from Kaizen Gameworks, the folks who did Paradise Killer. It is a Yakuza story. It is an open world mystery game where mascots are not people in costumes, but are like a whole separate race of creature. There's management sim aspects, there's deck builder aspects. There's a lot going on in this game, and somehow they managed to make all these like wacky little things kind of like work together in a way that's really cohesive. Um yeah, it's really fun. It didn't quite change my brain chemistry in the same way that Paradise Killer like permanently altered how my frontal lobe functions, but it's very good. Kaizen really knows how to make a world that is so weird but so cohesive and so real and believable. Like in the same way that Paradise Killer has this island that is meant to be this paradise outside the realm of reality, otherwise run by these immortal assholes called the Syndicate, who are trying to revive dead alien gods. And they managed to make that very believable. You know, Kazomachi is very believable as this podunk little Japanese town that has all these like weird mascots living in it, and also has Yakuza kind of running things behind the scenes, and a corrupt mayor and all this weird political intrigue. It's very good. I cannot recommend it enough. It's I don't know who this is a game for. I can't say like,
For
oh, if
for
you
you.
like this, then you'll. It's a game for me. It's a game for me. I think what I think is the most apt kind of comparison is if you took like a mini game from a Yakuza game and you just turned it into a full blown 40-hour experience on its own. Um, of course, there are people who will spend that much time on like the host club mini game in Yakuza anyway. Um, Voice acting is great, character design is great, music is great. Music was done by a friend of mine, Mr. Alpha Chrome Yayo. Please buy his work on Bandcamp. Instead of streaming it on Spotify. Spotify sucks. Buy it on Bandcamp. ACY did great work. Always nice to see a homie land a really nice gig like this. So yeah, look, I can't say enough good things about Kaizen Gameworks as a company, or like the people who run the company. They've been really supportive of my bullshit over the last 5 years. So I want to be just as loud about my support for them. So look, the game is great. It's very weird, but it's very fun. And it's been on sale several times. So if you don't already own it, grab that on a Steam sale. And I think they're actually getting ready to do like a nice physical release sometime next year. So if you're into owning physical things, which in our current digital streaming nightmare, it's probably the way to go. So, uh, yeah, it's good. Go get it.
All right. We are already up to number 4. Micah, what game lies there for you?
Um, it's a little indie game that Brad put me onto, um, called Ball Pit.
Well, we're not talking about it yet.
Oh my gosh.
But we will talk about it later. Don't you worry. My number 4 was Micah's number 7, 6, 7.
7.
And that is no, it was your 6. Your 6.
My 6.
Yeah, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I have no prior connection to the Shinobi series at all. I was a Super Nintendo kid. I was a Nintendo kid growing up, so I didn't have a Genesis, so I didn't play the original games. I never played any of the PS2 Shinobi games that came out, or any of its spiritual sequels like Tenchu and things like that. So I had no, nostalgic reason to play Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I just played it because it looked really good. It seemed like it played really well, and between that and the Ninja Gaiden 2D side-scrolling game that also came out this year, and they released around the same time, Shinobi looked much more like my shit. And holy hell was Shinobi 100% my shit this year. I don't play, like, I can get my fill of 2D like action platformers, like with Metroid elements and stuff like that. They're a genre of game that I can't gorge myself on. Like, I need to reset myself after playing one for a little bit. But I like I said, from the moment I picked this game up to the moment I beat it, it was tough to put this one down. The music, the visuals, the platforming, the combat,
Pinpoint platforming, man.
right?
Like you feel like this is one of the games that makes you feel like a badass when you are on, and like when you do like those little separate challenge rooms,
Mhm.
and everything is clicking, and I get into like a zen state, and I don't get that with a lot of these types of games, especially games with involving ninjas, right? Like, as much as I want to look cool playing a Ninja Gaiden game, I I'm not. I'm a square, right? But this game even makes this square feel like a circle. I don't know. You feel awesome playing this game.
Yeah, and it's just that, like, not only is the combat like super fluid and super smooth, but also like each encounter is kind of like a puzzle in and of itself. Like, if you really want to maximize using the tools the game gives you, like, you have to approach combats in a very specific manner, to try to figure out, okay, this is how I'm going to deal damage. I'm going to use my kunais and weaken this guy down a little bit, so that you can kind of prime everyone in like the auto execute state that you can then unleash to get like big bonuses and stuff like that. Also, a lot of customizability in terms of how you build out your character, because they have a lot of swappable like power-ups and stuff like that you would find in like a Hollow Knight, for example, where they have like the charms and things of that nature, so that you can specialize certain aspects of your character, or have certain abilities keyed or not keyed, depending on what you're trying to do. And yeah, like I said, really fun game, really clever level design. Typically in games like this, you're just kind of running from point A to point B. This one is I would call it more of like an action platformer with Metroidvania elements, because each level is self-contained, but you're encouraged to go back and replay the levels. And like, when you get power-ups that you acquire later in the game, they open up areas of the level that you couldn't access your first time through and things like that. So you're doing all of those sorts of things. The story is also like not important, but also really fun and stupid for what this
Yeah,
type of
it's
game.
90s dumb. It's 90s dumb.
Yeah, like literally one of the last levels is Joe Mashashi like dives into the belly of a fucking kaiju that he has to kill from
Right.
the inside from the inside out. Like that's the kind of shit that we're fucking talking about here. I'm shocked that I liked this game as much as I did. I'm not shocked that it's above where Micah had it on his list, but when the game came out, I would have been surprised if I had this ranked higher than Micah in Game of the Year. And lo and behold, that's exactly what has happened here. That just shows you the quality of Shinobi Art of Vengeance, which is a very, very good one of these. So,
Nice.
Carrie, what do you have for your number 4?
Donkey Kong Bonanza.
That's my number 3. So
Okay, so as good a time as any to talk about it. So
Cool. It's real good. It's the only Donkey Kong game I have ever beaten. I'm not good at the country games. I'm gonna be real with you both. I'm not good at the SNES era, and I never finished Returns, and I never finished Tropical Freeze. Bonanza's very fun. What a fun follow up from the Mario Odyssey team. Um, it's just fun. It's just a fun fucking game. I don't know what else there is to really say about it. It was fun the whole way through. The Bonanza powers are really fun. I thought the story was cute. It fit into the grander Mario timeline very neatly. Um, Big fan of the kind of climax of that game. I love King K. Rool so much. He's low key one of my favorite Nintendo villains. And the way that they chose to bring him back, I thought was really fun. Yeah, it was just a really fun game. I never got tired of it. I just wanted to keep playing it, and I did until I was done with it. Now, what I will say is the DLC does not appeal to me at all. I have no interest in the little DLC expansion that they did whatsoever. So that aside, this was like a beautiful little gaming experience, top to bottom.
When this game came out, I was so like Donkey Kong. There's way too much money for fucking Donkey Kong. Who gives a shit about Donkey Kong, right? I do. It's super fun, man. It's super fun. And when I finally uncrossed my arms, like impress me, game. When I finally opened up to it, and it didn't take long. I started really getting into it. It's super fun, and I think once the music is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The way that this
I like the zebra song the best. I don't know.
yeah, I never hear it though, because like the zebra sucks.
The zebra form sucks, but the song is great.
But this game is just this is what it's the feeling you get when you play a Nintendo game.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can just like that's the best way I can describe it. You feel like a kid again. And for me, um, I started letting my son play it, and it's wild, right? Because you see kids like he's learning how to read, and it's like, holy shit! Like I'm seeing a person grow, right? And you can do that with this also, right? Like I give him the thing, and I tell him how to do it, and he doesn't know how to do it, but then he keeps playing, and he does know how to do it, and he's like, and I give him a post game save, right? Because we were playing a separate save, and I'm like, fuck this, I'm not replaying the entire game just to, So I when I beat the game, I give him a post game save, right? And I'm seeing him figure things out, and I'm seeing him. He's like, "Hey, how do I get to another world?" And I see him open the map up and go to the gong, and immediately warped to his favorite worlds, right? And I see him find these bananas. Now look, I finished the game with 313 bananas, right? This save file now has 366 bananas. He found 53 post game bananas on his own. And it's just wild, like seeing him figure out puzzles, seeing him read the instructions or the dialogue on the screen. And it's just, maybe part of that is why I have it at number 3, but this is just a great this is good ass Nintendo.
Hmm.
This is good ass Nintendo. If it's comfort food in video game form.
Yeah. I had it at number 7. And if you guys remember when this game came out, we were playing it. I thought this was going to be like right up there in like my top 3 or better as
Yeah.
we were going through it. And I really did enjoy the playthrough. I think the reason that it kind of fell down the list for me is because after putting it down, and again, I beat the shit out of Donkey Kong Bonanza. I got the post game ending. I have like 600 some odd of the 777 bananas that are in the game. I fully cleared out 8 of the worlds with bananas and fossils, and so like I played the shit out of this game, but when I put it down, I never thought about it again. Like it was one of those things. Like I experienced this, it was great. Whereas a lot of the top games on my list, I find myself just continuing to think about those games and what they did. And Donkey Kong Bonanza, like as much as I enjoyed my time with it, I'm probably never going to play this again. And I can't say the same about Super Mario Odyssey, which was my number 1 game of the year back when that released in 2017.
2017.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games ever.
Hmm.
So again, Donkey Kong Bonanza is great. I don't think like I agree with you guys having it at 3 and 4. But just for me, like the lack of staying power, I guess, is kind of one of those things. Like it was a very kind of like junk food experience in a video
That's
game,
fair.
and that's not a bad thing. But it's not going to get you at the top of my top 10. That's all that means. So
Yeah.
so
As a quick aside, I do have to say, Post Game Bananas is a great band name.
so Donkey Kong Bonanza is Micah's number 3. My number 3. If we had done this list 5 or 6 months ago, or 4, that long, this would not have been at number 3. Still probably would have been in my top 10, but it would have been a lot lower on the list. But Firaxis has done such a good job in post game releases in post game content with Sid Meier's Civilization 7 that it's kind of rocketed up the list. So when Civ 7 came out, it had a bit of a rocky launch. The community was kind of up and down on some of the new features that were in the game and some of the new ways that the game played out. And the game just it was very clear, like this game was supposed to have come out last October, and they had to delay it to February, and it was very clear that the game probably could have used another 6 months in the oven. And they have spent that time kind of like tweaking, adding new civs to the game, adding new leaders, adding new wonders, and just like really refining the game's systems. And I think I've played more Civ 7 in the past 3 months than I did in the first 6 months after the game came out. Like that's kind of where I am with this one. And I think that they've gotten it to a really good place. The community is still as divided on it as ever. Try to please any subgenre of gaming fans and find yourself coming up empty a lot of the time. But it's in a really good place for me. And like I said, I think that this is a really unique version of the Civ franchise of the ones that I've played so far. Civ is one of those franchises that does a great job of really differentiating each entry in the series from the other entries in the series to make it, to make you feel like you're getting something new. Now, whether you like that new thing or not is, is always gonna you're always gonna please some people and not please some other people. But like I said, this game is really fun. I've grown to really enjoy having the leaders detached from the civilization, so that as you move through the game's eras, you have a new civilization. Really leaning into the different synergies that the leaders and the civs provide. Doing warfare in this game can be really really fun, especially if you have a civilization that is well suited to it. More, in my opinion, better than any other previous civ game has done the warfare piece of it. And again, there's still flaws in the game. I think there's definitely some still not major issues, but like things that you can point to say, hey, this could be a lot better, or I wish they would do this a little bit differently, and things of that nature. But the game's come a long way in 6 months, or really 8 months because it came out in February. Or 10 months. Fuck, what is time? Since the game released, and it's going to continue. Like Firaxis is one that doesn't abandon their games; they continue putting a lot of hard work into it, and like I said, this is another game that any device that can play it, it's going to get installed on there, and this is going to be one that I come back to very frequently over time, and that's how it made it up to number 3 on my list this year. Carrie, what do you have for your number 3 game?
Pokemon Legends ZA is my number 3 game of the year. I like Pokemon a normal amount. And
keep telling yourself that. So
yeah, average amount. Regular healthy amount. Look, Legends EA I think had a lot of hype behind it. The first Legends game did as well. This is very different from Legends Arceus. But I liked it, I think, more than I was expecting to. Um Two big things that really landed for me were um the the battle system, which rips. I love the twist on the battle system of it's no longer turn based. Every like all your moves are on cooldowns, and harder hitting moves like a hydro pump are accordingly on a longer cooldown than something that doesn't hit as hard, like water gun or tackle. Um the new mega forms I think are a good balance of cool and stupid. Um, Mega Starmie in particular is just very funny to me. um, if you're unfamiliar with Mega Starmie, I encourage you to look it up. It's basically just start. What if Starmie just ran around like a person? Um, uh, but then the other thing that really kind of hit for me was just like the writing in this game. I thought was really solid for a Pokemon game, which I think often has pretty thin storylines. But I feel like the writing team over at Game Freak has done a really good job with the past couple of games, because for as much as Scarlet and Violet was not really fun to play until you were playing it on a Switch 2, I did think the writing in those games was very good. And I think that's a big strength of ZA as well. So the game's ties to X and Y I thought were really well executed, where it wasn't necessary for you to have played X and Y to kind of get something out of ZA, but if you did, there was a lot more in it for you. Um, Following up on things like, okay, like what happens to the villainous team, and what happens to like your average kind of, you know, grunt after the events of a mainline Pokemon game, and exploring that I thought was just really interesting. That's not something that's really been done before. Um Unless you count kind of what happens in Gen 2 with Team Rocket, but whatever. Look, it's not a perfect experience, but they took some really big swings with ZA in terms of making big time changes to the core gameplay loop, and making big time changes to the battle system. And I think by and large those things kind of landed the way that they wanted them to. Um there are certain things to be said, like not everybody loves this whole like, oh, you can only catch Pokemon in certain parts of the city and the wild zones and stuff like that. It's again, it's not a perfect game, but as someone who has been playing Pokemon for 27 years now, it hit for me, and I'm not so loyal to the brand to where I'm not going to criticize where it's due. But I do think that a lot of the big mainstream criticisms are really just amplified nitpicks more so than anything else. This game's really fun, and I hope that what landed in this game gets carried over into whatever the next Pokemon project happens to be for Nintendo.
All right. So we've reached our top two. Um, I would bet that longtime listeners can probably correctly identify at least what games are in each of our top twos at this point, if not the order. I'm very curious to see what order Micah has his top two games in. So, Micah, what is your number two? And are we going to talk about it now, or are we going to talk about it later?
So yeah, you know what my top two games are.
Yeah.
But I really went back and forth with what is number two and what is number one. Is the game that I know I'm going to love, that was designed specifically for me in mind, going to be my number one? The game that I put more time into. Is it going to be my number one, or is it going to be something brand new that I've never seen before and I still think about? And so yeah, my after going back and forth, my number two game is uh, Ghost of Yote.
Hmm.
I, I mean, look, you take everything about Ghost of Tsushima and you make it better. This game has the unfortunate timing of coming of releasing after Assassin's Creed Shadows, and with what is essentially the same exact story, but what Assassin's Creed Shadows has in story is, while that is bloated, there is there is a focus in Ghost of Yote's almost identical premise, right? Someone you play as a female character whose family is murdered in front of them, and you have to get vengeance, right?
I can't.
Go
I just can't believe that two games set in ancient Japan released in the same year had the same samurai
the same
revenge. How,
premise.
like how did they land on the same samurai revenge story that's wholly unique to those two titles that has never been has never been done before?
Never been seen before. Never ever been seen before. But it's look, this game is everything I love about big budget film, Freudian slip, about big budget game making. There is there is this game has been optimized for the PlayStation 5, and it shows. There's no load times in this game. There's not even you hit the cross button to start the game. Literally 1 second in, you're running around. It's an amazing technical achievement. It's one of the best looking open world games I've ever seen. And look, it's easy because like it's not trying to render a city with a bunch of buildings and a bunch of people and stuff. But it's just gorgeous, man. The where Assassin's Creed Shadows is like a book report about ancient Japan. This is someone's great grandfather reminiscing about tales that their great grandfather told them. It's the acting is stellar. The fluidity in combat is just excellent. It takes the idea of what Ghost of Tsushima's I think his name was Jin, what that character's dilemma of like, do I go stealth or do I go, remain honorable? It takes that idea and it's just like, you know what, why choose, right? And I know that's kind of like that was kind of like the emotional hook of the first game, but you don't really you can kind of go through it and unless you're like fully engrossed into that story, it doesn't really matter. Whereas they just kind of take all that and just say, you know what, Atsu's a fucking badass. We're gonna let you play however you feel like she needs to play. And it's so wonderful, man. It's got, the black and white mode that is that's really cool, but I never turn it on because the game looks so beautiful. The Watanabe music mode, uh, you know, it's it's the type of music that I just prefer to listen to. Look, the game's not perfect. That Watanabe mode could have a little more tracks. The pacing of the game is a little off, right? Like the you begin the game, you take out one of your targets immediately, right? That's the prologue. And then it's the investigation, and that can be as long or as short as you want, right? But once you hit a certain point, it's all downhill, right? And it's I wish the game kind of had a slightly better pacing, but that's kind of difficult to do with an open world game. But look, man, the characters are great, the acting is great. It's one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen in terms of creating this particular type of open world. And yeah, it's I'm replaying it now. They've added a new game plus. They've added the ability to, because one of the big things with the game is once you were done, that was kind of it. Like you didn't have to turn it on again. Like all the bases that you take out are done. So it with new game plus, they have they let you keep all your stuff, all your abilities, and they gave you the ability to replay those base missions, because if you want to just like have fun and just like take people out, it's super fun, man. Like I know you don't really play on your PC a lot or your PlayStation a lot, but when this comes on PC, man,
Oh, but
you
I
might.
was gonna say, I can't wait to play it in 18 to 24 months when Sony ports it over.
Yeah, man, I think you will. I think you will. I think you will dig it. I think you will dig it. So
I
yeah,
mean,
Ghost of Yotei is my number two.
I don't remember what I had as my game of the year in 2020, but I'm pretty sure that like if we went back and that's actually not a bad idea for shows to go back and redo game of the year 2020 or past years. But if I could go back and do game of the year 2020, Ghost of Tsushima would probably be my number one or number two. Like I said, I literally can't remember what my game of the year was that year. So yeah, like I was bummed when this came out, and I was like, oh shit, I can't play this until Sony Sony benevolently ports it over. That blows. But yeah, I look forward to being able to do it. So now I know a lot of listeners out there probably sweating, and they're probably thinking to themselves, because this is something I would do, right? Like this is something I would do. Like could is Ball Pit my number one game? Is it my game of the year? Like would I deign to put it over what people assume my other of my top two games is? And you know what? No, it's not. Ball Pit is my number two game of the year. Everyone knows Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour is going to be number one on all of our lists, I'm sure.
Obviously, yeah.
No,
Without a doubt.
Ball Pit is my number two game of the year. What a revelation this game was. I mean, like I said, this game looked cool when I saw the first preview when they first revealed the game. I was not expecting to find a game that was just going to be so maddeningly addictive, with tons of different like surprises in the game. Just some of the most batshit like roguelike abilities that I've ever seen come from games with some of the things that the different evolved balls can do, some of the character abilities, the fact that you can run multiple characters at a time, like once you unlock certain things in Ball Pit. I'm not typically, I shouldn't say I'm not typically. A game really has to really like sing with me for me to be like a leaderboard chaser, and Ball Pit certainly is one of those games that just kind of figured it out to the point where, like, you know, Terrence has been on the show a bunch talking about Ball Pit as well, and he and I are just posting like our high times in our Dense Pixels chat, including I reached number 9 on the leaderboards with a specific character in like one of the early stages, which is now down to number 10. So I might need to go back and play for that time again. But just really fun, a great pick up and play game, and one that I've continued even after getting all the achievements, 100%ing, going through the campaign, beating all the initial stages with all the characters, starting to work my way through New Game Plus. Like, I still find reasons to come back to it and keep playing it. With a game that ostensibly does not have this much content. Like, I put in over 40 hours, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I had beaten the game in like 25. like that's kind of where we're sitting with that. So yeah, this again, another one of these, like, every device that I own that plays video games that runs Steam is going to have Ball Pit on it. That's just kind of where we are with that. And Micah, shockingly, you had this at number 4. I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah, man, I was taken with that game, man. I couldn't believe it. Because you know me, I'm superficial. I saw those graphics. I'm like, what the fuck is this? But no, I told you, if you say a game is good and you think I would like it, I will try it out.
Yeah. Are you still playing? Did you beat it? Like what? Like we
Oh
never
yeah,
got the
I'm still playing. The one thing about Ball Pit is that the necessary evil that is the city building. I am not a fan of city builders, but I'm getting used to it, and it is. I don't want to say fun because I don't find it. I find I find the actual game fun, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. But I'm not as efficient as I need to be with that section of the game.
I found the base building got more fun when I started min-maxing it. Like my city, or my base, I should say, is not aesthetically pleasing, but it sure does work real good for what it needs to do.
Yeah.
to maximize the bonuses from the adjacency bonuses from the buildings, and like I literally have like a row that's one space in between of like 7 gold mines that I like, and I have it right at the bottom of the crater, so that like I can shoot the line of characters into it, and they just ping around in there, and I get like 2,500 gold per shot, basically. Like that's kind of where I'm at with with how the base building works in this game. I've just broken it to make it work for what I need to, so I can power up my other buildings that give me stat bonuses and stuff like that. So that is number 2 for me. So
yeah, I can't believe how taken with that game was. Yeah, good on you, Brad. I might have to.
And hey, guess what? There's DLC coming for it. There's new characters, new balls, all sorts of stuff coming for that game. They just announced they're gonna have at least 3 different packs coming out. I think they're free as well. I don't think they're charging.
Oh, you speaking my language.
All right, Carrie. I know what your top 2 games are.
Yes.
I think I know the order they're in. So why don't you give us your number 2, and I'll see if I am correct.
Digimon Story Time Stranger is my number
correct.
2 game of the year. Look, I've already talked about it on the show pretty recently because it's the most recent game that I finished, but like, it's real good. I'm predisposed to liking it because I already have been a lifelong fan of the Digimon franchise just in general. But this game, it's real good. It's a real good turn-based RPG. Um, Great story. Really solid. I love a game that has good systems. Digimon story has always had good systems. It's got a good Digivolution system. You know, it's got the monster collecting aspect is deep, um, without being convoluted. Um, the training system is great. It, it's very good on a technical level, but it's also just got great writing, great characters. Um, Overall, it was a very fun experience. I felt um, it's a game that like I'm not going to go back and do it again, um, because there's not a ton in a new game plus that makes it necessarily worth it. But and I'm not the kind of completionist where it's like I have to go back and new game plus and fill out the whole Digimon list and this, that, and the other. Like I don't care about that. But I felt very satisfied after reaching the end and having the credits roll in a way that I don't always feel after having completed a JRPG of that length. There's a lot of times where I'm like, man, I wish there was more of this, or man, that was a bloated waste of time, or something like that. But this was like, it was a perfect length, well written story, good music, good characters, great systems overall. Um, it's solid. It's a game that I've waited for a long time, because the Cyber Sleuth duology came out, 8 years ago. Um, so I hope they make a million more Digimon story games because they're all really good, and I hope more people give it a shot because I know I've said this as well. I feel like it's getting overlooked because of the fact that it is a Digimon game. Um, so you don't have to have any attachment to the Digimon anime or anything like that. You can come in completely fresh without having any kind of thoughts about Digimon one way or the other, and I think still get just a really, really solid role playing game experience out of this. So yeah, it's great.
All right. So that brings us to our number one. And it sure seems like that Micah and I have the same number one game. So we'll talk about that first, and then we'll get to Carrie's number one, which Micah and I
Hmm.
both have on our list as well. So there are there's a couple games that really stick in my head that I've played over the course of my life that aren't the best games I've ever played, but they are the most memorable games that I've played just because I don't want to say redefine because that sounds way too hyperbolic, but they kind of expand your horizons on what video games can be compared to what has kind of come before. So like Final Fantasy VI for me is on that list.
Hmm.
Super Mario 64 is on that list. Metal Gear Solid is on that list for me. Ghost of Tsushima is on that list. Honestly, just kind of the way that that game combined all of its different factors to be what it is. And Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is on that list. We talked a lot about this game earlier this year. Once we had finished it, and Kara, I know you haven't played it, but I know you've also observed quite a bit of it
I absorbed
through
it through osmosis.
yeah through your partner playing it, and just what a it's almost like it's a game that kind of hears all of the things that people hate about AAA like big budget releases. Like, we hate the fact that they're bloated, we hate the fact that they don't trust you and they hold your hand to kind of walk you through these things. They hate the fact that they pull punches with their story and their characters, or that they're not, or that they're too afraid to get very weird with things, and to try to make games that are super appealing to a focus group style of audience where it's a jack of many trades but doesn't really master anything. And Clair Obscur does not do that. This is a game made by a small team with a bunch of contractors, but the core team is a small team who used to work for a bunch of big budget studios, felt their creativity stifled at those studios, and they knew that they would never get to make this type of game, so they set out on their own to do it themselves. And they made the game they wanted to make, and they made it very unapologetically. They made it very uniquely system. They made it very French. They made it very,
It is very French.
yeah, they made it very musically diverse. They made it look weird in a lot of ways. They told a story that wasn't laden with exposition dumps left and right. They kind of let the story express itself diegetically and through the things that you uncover in the game. Like you're confused during a lot of that game, and you're supposed to be. Like, that's kind of the whole fucking point, because you're alongside the different characters that are also very confused as to the world that they're living in. And they told a very emotional story. Like games, I think games have a lower bar than other mediums for what constitutes like a good story in gaming compared to film or literature and things like that, because I don't think we're used to good stories in video games, or just like the general caliber of stories in video games, or they're very cookie cutter. They follow the same kind of thing. This game is a game that straight on tackles the concept of grief and the idea of loss, and forces you to really wrestle with that on a personal level, as much as the characters are wrestling with it in the game as well. And it was just an incredible experience and a really fun game to boot. Like it has some of the most fun RPG combat that I can remember, by kind of mix matching of all games, Persona and like Super Mario RPG / Paper Mario, and smashing those into like one system, and kind of coming up with that, but also still giving you the flexibility to build out your characters in very unique manners to tackle the game's different stuff. So I've like I said, there's no way this wasn't going to be top of my list. Micah, why is it tops for you?
I mean, you pretty much said it all. I still think about this game, and I still think about, but I mainly think about the story. And there was a debate a long time ago about, are video games art? Yes, they are. They are art. The story. I mean, when I finished that game, like the standoff at the end, where you have to make a decision. I mean, I sat there, man. Like, I put the controller down and I sat there, and I was talking to myself, and I'm like, oh man, like I really feel for this person, but my my thought process is like, how they say you never go grocery shopping when you're hungry. You never go, because you're not in your right mind, right? And yeah, like you don't buy a coffin for someone who just passed. You bring somebody with you, because the funeral director is going to be like, hey, you want this top of the line, pressure sealed, gold plated coffin that you're just going to stick in the ground. But it plays off of that, man. And this game's story is like, I want to see it on the big screen, man. Like, I want to see this as a television series, but I also kind of don't. Like, I want this to be something that video games can claim as, hey guys, this is one of the best stories I've ever seen, you're ever gonna see, and this is the only way you can experience it.
Yeah.
And man, playing this game, taking the tried and true, turn-based role playing. I mean, turn-based role playing mechanics are some of the most basic like things you can have in a video game. And this team found a way to not only like tweak it, but like make it like action focused. Terrence is the action game guy, and he loves this game.
Hmm.
He loves a turn-based RPG. Like this guy like makes it a point, at least in his younger days, to like complete like action games on like super master ninja mode or whatever, right? Like super fast twitch, like, and he loves this game. And this game is, I mean, my God, man. It tells a story that is mature,
Hmm.
and mature in a way that's not like, how most people think of the word mature, tits, right? Like,
Tits and blood and gore.
right,
No,
right.
it is an emotionally mature story.
Yeah. And I mean, I still think about it. I don't want to get too hyperbolic, man, but like, this is one of the best games I've ever played, man.
Mhm.
This is one of the best like video game experiences that I've ever played. It's like, it's like when you it's like your favorite book, right? Like, I'm going to give my son my copy of American Gods because like that got me back into reading,
Mhm.
right? And like if I wanted to get somebody into gaming, I would tell them to go play this. And someone who's not into it, I would get Jay to play this game. He don't give a fuck about video games. I guarantee you he would love it. Like, this is I absolutely love it. It deserves all of the praise that is being heaped on it. Um and yeah, man, like, do yourself a favor and play this game. It's amazing.
I think Claire Obscure is to 2025 as what Metaphor was to 2024 in terms of really just delivering what is an emotionally mature and overall very good and very refined turn-based RPG experience. And the only reason that like I didn't play it this year is because I did watch my partner play through the whole thing. So uh, I got most of the story. Now it is a game that I may, early next year go back and then actually sit and play through myself, but it's one of these things of like it's hard to want to get the motivation to play through something that is like that kind of intense of an RPG when I'm already like watching someone do
Mhm.
it, every night for a few months. Um so I want to get to it. But yeah, it's like the because of the fact that I absorbed so much of it, you know, just by being in the room with my partner while he was playing it. That's why I didn't play it this year, but I do want to, and it is on my kind of
Yep.
backlog list. So
And I will say, like, I understand like the people who decide on, what video games get nominated for like the Grammys aren't probably like keyed into video games, and I'm sure the Grammys have the same like for your consideration style campaigns that like other
oh, they
major
do.
award
Yeah.
ceremonies have. It's criminal that that this game's soundtrack is not nominated for best video game score at the Grammys. It's
I'm not.
because it's gonna win it at the Game Awards. I
It
guarantee it's
is.
gonna win best music.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it makes me wonder if they actually put in for it because you
they
do have to
probably didn't.
apply.
Yeah, they probably
Yeah,
didn't. So
you do have to apply for it.
yep.
So, and Grammy submission is a little different from other award shows. I do know that much. You do have to like pay a fee to
Yeah.
submit. So,
So that's mine and Micah's number one. Carrie's number one
yep.
is my number 9 and Micah's number 7. But Carrie,
It's 82.
it's 82.
Um, I like Hades a lot. It's really the only roguelike I've ever enjoyed. Supergiant really knows how to make that experience fun and accessible, and difficult without necessarily being punishing. Um, I like the first Hades a lot. Plus, we all know that I'm in like a dedicated Hades band, so it's there is, I feel, potentially a contractual obligation for me to like these games as much as I do. But uh, it's good, and the thing that really gets me is the fact that like they listened to the players when the players said the writing on the original ending was weak, and that they not only went back and they updated it to a point where characters' motivations become more clear and things land a lot better than they did originally. Um, but that if you had already kind of rolled credits, they let you kind of go back and get the new ending that you don't have to then replay the entire game. Um, just it's real good. I like Millenoi a lot. I like that at its core, this is still a game about family. This is Millenoi searching for a way to save her blood family through the ties that she has with her chosen family in the crossroads. Um, it's real good. I like Greek mythology. All the characters are hot, all the music is good, and the gameplay rips. And I have nothing really negative to say about Hades 2. I've played a fuck ton of it, and I'm not done. So,
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
good.
So Mike and I both had this in our top 10, but considerably lower than
Mhm.
certainly I would have expected it to be. Um, Knowing that the game was coming out this year, I actually went back and looked at our last year's rankings. I actually had this higher last year in early
Yeah.
access than it ended up being in its full release. I think the
To be fair,
reason
this was a very stacked year for games.
it was well, it was an incredibly stacked year, like an incredibly stacked year.
Yeah.
Um, but I think for me, the reason why this didn't climb higher on the list, and the reason why I have honestly haven't played it as much as I would have expected myself to. I think part of it's just because like obviously like the first Hades was incredibly novel, and now like I kind of know what to expect, so it doesn't have like the same level of newness to it.
Mhm.
I also think for me like this is going to sound harsher than I mean it to. The first Hades was so fucking tight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you had your four levels, you had your your upgrade tree, you had your different weapons that you could use in the different affixes, or I can't remember what they call them in Hades, but the different like sub weapon
Aspects.
aspects. That's what it is. And it was really fucking tight, and you could kind of go on a run, and like when you beat a run, you were ready, you're gonna get some cool story beats, and then you would get keyed up for the next run. It was very easy, just like smash out runs in Hades 1. And I really like the additions to the systems that Hades 2 added to the game. Like I like the new like card tableau and the way that that differs from the mirror, and I like the the different you know potions that you have to brew at the thing and all that kind of stuff. But it adds more friction to get to the
Mhm.
next run. And so I think that's one of the reasons why it has not clicked with me as much as the first one did. Just because there is a few extra like barriers, which it is great for player agency, but it's not great for me, the roguelike guy that wants to get right back into the action. Like I feel it's like there's
Yeah.
too many things I have to go do around the campsite before we go on the next run.
That's
And I
fair.
think that's one of the things that's kind of slowing me down a little bit with it.
Yeah, I just haven't put in as much time as I want to yet with that game.
Mhm.
But like I like it more than Hades 1. I agree that like you got to go through two different screens before you can go back in. And that might sound ridiculous, but in a game where it's just like I hear no bell, right? Like you want to go right back into it. Like you want to go right back into it.
Yeah.
Um, but I like the characters. I think the art. I mean, look, I didn't think the art could get any more beautiful, but it does. Uh, simply by like little shimmers and sheens on the
I
character
do love
profile.
the effects that they added
Yeah,
on.
man,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I like the way Malinois plays the weapons. I like the way she plays better than Zagreus. And look, Supergiant. I don't what how many games have they made? Like five.
No, it's more than that. It's
Um,
let's see, Bastion. We'll go through in order. Bastion,
Bastion,
Transistor,
Transistor,
Pyre. Oh no, and then Hades, and yeah. So Micah's
Hades,
correct.
Hades.
It is 5 games.
I mean, they're like 5 for 5, man. Like
Mhm.
they're the Supergiant is like if a game if they're making a game, I'm playing it. And yeah, Hades 2. Look, it suffers from being more of something great. And this year it just in any other year this would have broke my top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is the thing is that like I said, this year is so stupid,
Stacked. It's
silly
just
with
stacked.
games that come out. So
Um, I do just on the topic of Hades. I can't say anything explicit yet, but if you are perhaps going to be in or around GDC in March, you may want to look at your evenings and if there's maybe a concert happening on a Thursday of GDC in San Francisco, maybe you plan on coming out to that. Because maybe there's a big thing that has to do with Hades happening at that I'm involved with. But that's all I'm gonna say about that right now.
there you go. So despite the fact that I thought that our top tens would be more diverse this year, we actually had 3 fewer total games mentioned than we did
Than
last
last
year.
year.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
so there's a slightly more homogeny, 23 individual games across our three top 10 lists this year. The Dense Pixels top 3. For those of you curious, this so the way that I do this is I assign a point system, weighted more heavily the higher a game is on the list. So like your top game gets 25 points, but your 10th game gets 1, and there's kind of divvy out between there. So the top 3 games according to the Dense Pixels podcast 2025, number 3, Donkey Kong Bonanza with 33 points. Number 2, also with 33 points, but with the highest overall ranking between the two games, Hades 2.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1, Clay Obscure
Yeah.
Expedition 33, by virtue of having 2 number 1 rankings. So
I'm
That's I ain't mad at that.
I guess I'm a little surprised, but now that I'm thinking about it more, really shouldn't be. That Silk Song didn't land on any list this year.
as
But I don't
as
think
as we have said, I think we talked about this. None of us are Silks or Hollow Knight people.
no, none of us are Hollow Knight people.
Because we've all played the first game, right? Like we've all attempted the Hollow Knight one.
No.
Oh, you have not? Okay,
I fucking play Metroidvanias.
I thought you
I'm
might
not-
have tried it. Yeah.
I'm not good at that kind of game, and I know I'm not good at that kind of game. And so I generally do not play. I'm not gonna play a Metroidvania, especially when it's known up front that it is a very punishing Metroidvania. So it's like, why am I gonna spend money trying to play something that I know I'm not gonna fucking like? So I respect the Hollow Knight games, but I know they're not for me.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I've tried Hollow Knight 1 thrice and have not been able to follow through. So I'm pretty sure playing the sequel to Hollow Knight that is even more brutal than the original Hollow Knight is not necessarily on my list of to dos.
No.
Yeah.
So we have a little segment called the Dense Pixels Post Office where you can ask us questions in Discord by going to densepixels.com/fans. I asked you for your top 1 to 3 games this year. I was curious to see how our lists aligned with our communities. Anthony just gave us one game, and he says his top game, Hollow Knight Silksong, the aforementioned. Award Tour 88 gave us a top 4. Number 1, Ghost of Yote. Number 2, Absolem. Number 3, Schedule 1, which is a kind of like Friends multiplayer game that came out on PC earlier this year about running a drug running business. And number 4, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Gustavo gave us his top 3. Number 1, Claire Obscure. Number 2, Expedition. And number 3, 33.
Thanks, Gustavo.
Mark says, pretty sure Ghost of Yote would be on Brad's list if he didn't go all PC edgelord. Probably correct. I'm very upset that I haven't gotten to play that yet. Film Wander, number 1, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Number 2, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And number 3 is Mullet Magic. Micah, did you consider Indiana Jones for your list this year?
No, when I finally got out of the Vatican, I was just over it.
All right.
I was barely into it in the first place because like I just wanted to watch it. Like I just wanted to watch an Indiana Jones story.
Yeah.
It's a good game, but it's not for me.
Those are some movies I should probably see the rest of.
Which ones have you seen?
I'm a little embarrassed to say.
Is Temple of Doom the only one? Or is Crystal Skull?
No.
Oh, Dial of Destiny?
Dial of Destiny's the only one I've seen.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Holy moly. Yeah, go please watch at the very least Raiders and Last Crusade. And if you're feeling froggy, Temple of Doom, and if you're feeling really froggy,
don't feel froggy.
Look, I still have a soft spot for Temple of Doom. So
of course you do. Look, if you like Temple of Doom, you might be a racist. Okay, because the way they treat those people, like, all right.
Look, that movie is literally part of film history. It's the first ever PG-13 movie that was made.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it was too extreme for PG, and they're like, but it's not R. We have to come up with a new rating, and so they came up with PG-13. So,
Yep.
Mark says didn't play a heck of a lot of new stuff this year, but in general, number 1, Ghost of Yote. Number 2, Expedition 33. Number 3, Ball Pit. Number 4, Sword of the Sea. A little indie title that came out.
Interesting. I heard good things about that.
Yep. Duke said 2025 was more of a backlog year for me, so my top 3 games released in the last 365-ish days are, number 1, Battlefield 6, number 2, Shinobi Art of Vengeance, and a tie for number 3 between Virtua Fighter 5 Revo and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And he also asked about Micah and I's thoughts on the First Light Collector's Edition. I thought we did talk about this.
I don't think we did. Did we?
We didn't.
It's $300 and it comes with a gun.
Kind of gun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we did talk about this. I remember I said like if that disassembled like the actual golden gun did, that I would
have to get it.
I would
have to get it.
Yeah. But
it doesn't. Yeah, it's just kind of there. Yeah, because I remember we talked about it.
Yeah.
I don't get those things anymore.
No, neither do I. Neither do I.
It's got to be a really good collector's edition.
No, even then, like the last one that I ever bought was the God of War 3 one, and the quality of the Pandora's box was so shitty. I'm like, I need to stop buying these because these are fucking horrendous.
The last collector's edition I bought was the physical of Paradise Killer because it came with a big titty goat mommy mouse pad that I use and need to clean. You never know how much like sweat comes off your wrist until you get one of these mouse pads that has like the titty bumps on there, and then suddenly it's like, it's kind of grimy.
Mad Coco G's top 3: Shinobi Art of Vengeance, Virtua Fighter Revo, and Possessors, which is a game that was on my radar, but kind of fell off. Once I played the demo, it didn't jive with me too much. Micah, did you play Virtua Fighter Revo this year? I can't remember if you talked about it or not.
No, I haven't played it. I did play the Tokon beta, and that's all I've got to say about that.
I heard it was
Okay.
not good.
Okay.
It's not bad, but there's nothing like they announced that game way too early. They announced that game way too early,
Yeah.
and I don't think, and coupled with the fact that like I like fighting games, but like tag fighters and enemy fighters are not my thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm a guile player. I'm the worst person you want to play in a fighting game because I'm boring. Um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that game. I wasn't terribly impressed.
Max Everblack's top three. Number one, Claire Obscure. Number two, Dispatch. Number three, Donkey Kong Bonanza. They also mentioned they have not had time yet to play Hell is Us, Digimon Time Stranger, 100 Line, Kronos, or Atelier Yumiya, but they're high on their list and would sure one of them would probably crack into the top 3 to 5 if they had played them.
Proud of you for pronouncing Atelier Yumiya correctly.
Come on. I'm not Jay. I'm not some simpleton. Seakhead's top three: Expedition 33, number two, Hades 2 and Ghost of Yote, number three, Dispatch. Look, I see what you're doing there. Pick one. You got to make a choice there. You just wanted to get Dispatch on the list because you wanted to mention it. That's
a lot of people talking about Dispatch. Goodness.
Beach Boy, number one, Hades, number two, Claire Obscure, number three, Dispatch, T-Wash, number one, AC Shadows, number two, South of Midnight, number three, Dispatch. I'm so on the fence with Dispatch because like it's getting a lot of buzz right now.
I'm waiting for you.
And it's like an 8-hour game. Like you can run through all the episodes in like 8 hours. But there are just some things in that game that I'm just so afraid that would just fucking annoy the shit out of me. Cause like I'm not a big superheroes guy. Apparently there's a lot of like, like dick humor and stuff like that, which, if done well, cool. Like there's a degree where it can be done well, but then there's also like the Borderlands like side of it where you'd have to worry about that stuff. So I'm concerned about that. So yeah, I'm still debating on Dispatch.
I'm throwing it on my wish list, and I'll grab it when it's on sale.
It's on my wish list. I probably am waiting for a sale. Like when that goes down to $20, I'll pick it up and talk about it. But
there's a demo. All right,
I played the demo, and I liked what I played.
Okay.
But yeah, so we'll but again, it's showing up on several of our listeners' top three. So it's definitely got some things going for it there. So hey, lot of Claire Obscure, lot of Ghost of Yote, lot of Hades 2, and even a Ball Pit there, which warms my heart that's happening. So
nice.
all in all, I think we can all agree, what a fucking year once again in video games.
The world is bad, but the games are good.
The games are good, and there's still more good games coming. Yeah.
Do you guys have any resolutions for 2026 when it comes to your gaming? I feel like we've done this in the past, and I always
I failed the one I said for last year.
Which
was I was going to beat every game that I bought.
Oh, but like I told you last week, that was an idiotic resolution to me. Like I don't know why you make such a resolution.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I think my big one is I just want to play through one game on my Super Nintendo because it's hooked up to the TV that if you're watching on YouTube, literally behind me. And I went out, I bought a complete in-box Super Nintendo game this year, and I still haven't played it. I'm gonna try and do that.
Which was
probably once I'm back from the East Coast. Rama 1/2 Hard Babble, which is a game that I never owned as a kid. I played frequently because it was always set up at the Power Gamer at Owings Mills Mall. It's a 2D fighting game with the Rama 1/2 characters, and I found a complete in-box copy in pretty decent shape at Pittsburgh Gaming Expo this year for not an extravagant amount of money. So I picked that up, and for as much as I'm not like a fighting game person, I do love Rama 1/2, and it's a game that I was advertised constantly as a kid because I was always buying Rama 1/2 VHS tapes. Um, and I can just like hear the music from that ad in my brain when I think about that game. So I wanted to pick it up, but I have a bunch of other like physical Super Nintendo games. I've got Link to the Past. I've got Simpsons Bart's Nightmare. I've got Final Fantasy 6. I've got some repro carts of some older Mega 10 games like Last Bible and the original like Shin Megami Tensei games and whatnot. So I would like to actually like sit my ass down with like an old controller and play through one of those games. So that is my 2026 resolution is play a goddamn Super Nintendo game on original hardware.
Yeah.
I guess mine would be similar, and I've kind of already started doing it late this year. But I kind of aspire to always have a retro game on deck that I'm also playing alongside like all my modern games. Just because there's like in getting into the retro scene, with our silly fucking devices that I like to buy from China.
Right.
I found I've gotten keyed into a lot of games that I certainly missed when I was growing up. Because they either flew under the radar or I didn't think I would like them, so I didn't play them. And it turns out like, oh, actually, I'd probably dig this shit. So that I'm trying to curate like some retro games that some retro games that are new to me, that I'd like to actually spend some time sitting through and getting retro achievements in, because that's really fun. Like we've just taken trophies and replaced them with Steam and retro achievements, and it's like we've never left. So.
I don't have a resolution.
That's
Fuck
fair.
that. I'm not gonna keep it. I'm not gonna keep it.
The easiest way to win is not to play, Micah. That's
not making any promises you're not going to be able to keep. Yeah, that's fair.
So that'll do it for 2025 Game of the Year. Obviously, a couple games that maybe you were expecting to hear but didn't. I'll also say that Metroid and Octopath Traveler 0, some games that might have been considered on some of our lists. They came out too late this year. So if we play them and we rate them, you'll hear about it on next year's Game of the Year list when we get to that next December. So, but that's going to do it here for us. Thank you all very much for watching and listening, and we'll see you all the next time.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.